Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, what do you call a goblin that specializes in blood magic? A hemogoblin. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Castle Panic Big Box from Fireside Games. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. Castle Panic Big Box from Fireside Games is a new iteration of the Castle Panic game. Essentially, it is the same core base game, but you also have the 4 expansions are available right in this box. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the base game and then tell you what I think. In Castle Panic, of course, you have a central castle. You make little castle walls and then little castle towers. You then, of course, have the board, which has several concentric rings that have different levels for, archers, knights, swordsmen, etc. And what you're going to do is, at the beginning of the game, you're going to set up certain numbers of monsters that are going to attack you, goblins, trolls, etc. These are kind of 3-pointed little cardboard units, and depending on which side is facing the castle determines what their strength value is. Now, depending on player count, you're going to go ahead and be able to draw a number of cards, and then you can discard a number of cards, again, depending on player count, and then you can draw up that number. It's usually only 1 or 2. You also have the option to trade cards. If you want to trade a card with somebody, you can go ahead and, depending on turn order, you can go ahead and you can trade cards, but it must be a trade. Next, you actually play cards. So what you do is, most cards say, something like Red Archer, which means if you play the Red Archer, you can hit any monster that is in Red Archer's line there. You can go ahead and twist it to its lower power. If it's at 1 and you knock it out, you remove it from the game board. You can go ahead and you play as many cards as you want, dealing as much damage to the various monsters as you can. Everybody that goes around takes a turn doing that. Next, all monsters are going to move. They're all going to move 1 ring toward the tower there. Now, if they get to a wall, most of them, if they hit the wall, they'll take a strength point deduction and the wall will be removed. But if they get inside the walls, they can start knocking down towers, and that's no good. Now, also, players may get a brick card and a mortar card. If they have both a brick and a mortar card, they can play those both together to repair walls. Now, after all the monsters are moved, you draw 2 new monsters from the bag. Now, these may be just monsters you put on the board in the furthest spot, but they may be other things like a boulder. A boulder is going to roll down. It's going to destroy all of the monsters in its way, and it's going to destroy the first wall or tower that it hits. But you may do other things. You may pull other things, like there are special kinds of monsters that have special powers that activate immediately. You may have things that make the monsters move in different ways, move sideways and whatnot. So there's a lot of different monsters and effects that you pull out of the bag at this time. Now this will keep going on until one of 2 things happens. First of all, if a monster destroys the last tower you've got in the castle, you lose the game immediately. Otherwise, if you can get through the bag of all the monsters and play through them all and kill them all before they knock down your last tower, then you win! Castle Panic Big Box. So, I don't know that I had ever played the original Castle Panic game myself. I had played, I think, the Munchkin version. I played the zombie one. But I don't know that I ever played the original. So I played this here, and it was really fun. I just played this solitaire. And I really had a lot of fun with it. It's basic, castle defense, tower defense kind of a game, but it's fun and it's tense and it's hard when you're solo because you don't have people to trade cards with. There's not as many cards coming out. So it is pretty intense. It's a pretty intense game, but it is a lot of fun. I really rather enjoyed it. Now, I have not yet played the other expansions here. I've just played the basic game. But I'm looking forward to playing the expansions, which I'm sure I will when I get a chance. But this game is a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy this kind of tower defense because it's a simple game. It's very simple. It's a very simple game, and yet there is huge strategy here. And this is a great kind of gateway game, I think, for younger players or people that are trying to get into the hobby, and yet there's still enough meat here for grizzled sea dogs like me who played a lot of different games. I still love this, and it's still tense, and it's still fun, and I really get a kick out of it. The other, like I said, I haven't played any of the other expansions here, but I can only imagine the replayability that's going to come out with these different expansions here, and so I'm super excited about that. I think this game gives you a lot of bang for the buck. This is not an inexpensive game, but with those expansions baked in, I think you know, like I say, with the low complexity level of this game and the fun it generates, I think it's probably a bargain. I think you're going to really enjoy it. My recommendation, I really enjoyed this game. I really enjoy this game quite a bit. So my recommendation is go ahead and buy it. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out. Please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. Also, please leave a thumb for this video on Board Game Geek. That also helps us out a lot as well. And also, if you like this channel, you like this video, you like what we do here, please consider clicking on the Super Thanks button here on the YouTube screen and leave a contribution. We would really appreciate that as well. Say, did you hear about that goblin that got his left arm and then his left leg chopped off? He's all right now.
I think that maybe he does go a little bit overboard sometimes, but that's just maybe when he's kind of upset. That's it. Otherwise he's just.
Well, I love the king.
Oh, we all love the king.
Of course
Nobody is saying we don't like the king.
I really love the king.
Yeah. But if we're not pulling any punches,
right?
Sometimes it seems it seems a bit all unnecessary.
Just you mean the killing?
The killing.
Yeah, the kill. Well, of course, the killing.
Sometimes bathing in blood is.
It's a bit much.
But I mean, other than that,
He's great.
Other than
great.
that, I love the king. He's probably like the best economic king we've ever had.
He is.
Well, I've got dental now.
Right.
And schools. Don't forget schools.
And
schools.
Foreign policy-wise, he's like one of the best.
We are in war.
Right. Come on, picky.
What else do we have to do if we're not in war?
That's true.
We're just sitting around. He's giving us jobs. Is what he's doing.
Right.